Ms. Divya Prabhakar is also our youngest TEDx Youth at Chennai speaker. She's just completing her 12th grade from a leading Chennai local school with 10 years of education in the US, followed by a high schooling here and a multicultural background, which you will soon hear more about. She truly represents the global Indian. Ms. Prabhakar was the Secretary General at the recently concluded Chennai Model United Nations, which was conducted in her school. And it was attended by over 400 students from 25 different schools. She is on her school's tennis team and is fresh from the victory of the South Asian International School Championships. Apart from this, she has also done field research in the field of loan recipients with a leading microfinance company. She is also active on the social event circuit and works with an anti-human trafficking organization. Today, she is with us to share her story and to tell us how her confusion led to her inspiration. Please give a big round of applause to Ms. Divya Prabhakar.
Is it on? My sister this morning, I was chatting with her at the breakfast table, and I was telling her how nervous I am to be speaking in front of such a large, distinguished crowd. This is my first time speaking in front of everyone. So, as a sister, she gave me some advice, and she said, Didi, just don't try to impress people. Don't try to be smart. Don't try to be funny. In other words, just be yourself. So thanks, Priya. But here I'm going to talk about my TEDx theme of inspiration. And TEDx, or inspiration, has two meanings. The first one, is it going? There you go. Stimulation of the mind or emotions to a high level of feeling or activity. So that's one dictionary definition of inspiration. And the second one is the act of drawing in air, to breathe in. And personally, I like the second one the best because according to the second definition, I'm awesome at inspiring. I inspire people when I talk on the phone. I inspire people when watching KBC. And ladies and gentlemen, I even inspire in my sleep. And I inspire very well. But I don't think this is what TEDx wanted me to talk about. I'm hardly the poster child for inspiration. My daily routine consists of waking up at 7:45 when I'm supposed to wake up at 7. I change my outfit about 4 times because I think I look fat. My mom shouts at me because I don't eat enough breakfast. And then my dad lectures me on not being punctual. And then I go to school for 7 hours a day, and then I come home and I do my homework until into the night. So do you guys think this is inspirational? Yeah, me neither. Okay. Actually, so I moved here about 4 years ago from Austin, Texas in the US. And I had lived there for 14 years, and then my dad started a company, and we had to move from the US to India. And, so to India. And on top of that, so I had 1 foot in Chennai, and I had 1 foot in Austin. And then on top of that, my dad is a South Indian. He's a Telugu from Andhra Pradesh, and my mom is a Punjabi. So she grew up in Calcutta. So I have all these influences around me, these cultural influences. So I'm a Brahmin, I'm a Golti, I'm a Sikh, I'm a NRI, Desi. I'm so confused with all of these things. So let me talk about how confused I am. First of all, let's talk about marriage. My American side of me says marriage is so great. You guys should date whoever you want, find your true love, and then marry them. And they will stick with you through sickness and in health, in good and bad. Even in Ram Gopal Varma's movies, they will stick with you. But keep the tag on the wedding dress because the divorce is very, very, very likely. My Indian side of me says you will only find true love if you don't get to pick. The parents should pick for you, and then you should spend the rest of your life with someone you don't know. That's comforting. Let's talk about weddings. The Punjabi side of me, my moms, they are the ones that think they are number one, so they stick up their hands like this, and they stick up their arms, and they go like this all night. And I really mean all night. And I think it's because after 5 hours, the blood drains down, and you become numb, like you cannot feel anything. And especially the shock of having these pot-bellied uncles sweating so much. And as each hour passes by, one more button comes off their shirts. I swear. So they're coming up, and so you're just there all night. And half the time I don't know what I'm doing, but I guess everyone around me is doing it, so I should. In contrast, the Golti side of me, I'm up at 2:30 in the morning in Tirupati, and I'm chanting Hanuman Chalisa, and then there's this kind of like temple music. It's like a me all the time, from 2:30 in the morning all the way into the evening. And so that's the culture clash that I face. Let's talk about food. The Panju Bong meal, the ideal meal, is like a big thali with dal makhni, naan, tandoori chicken, aloo dum. And then my mom, being the bong she is, has to have her sweets. So we have our mishti doi, our laddus, our like all this stuff. And then my dad comes in and just a jar of gongura serves him for an entire meal. We don't need all this thali. We have a jar of gongura that's fine for him. And rice is optional. So that's, yeah. So that's, and then there's obviously the language issue. So I love dosas, and our cook, Mukesh, he speaks Hindi. So I'll go in the kitchen and I'll say, Mukesh, mujhe dosa banao. And my mom only told me yesterday this means make me into a dosa instead of make a dosa for me. So that's going to have to change. But jokes apart, this cultural confusion is quite distressing at times. When someone asks me, where do you belong, I don't have an answer. I don't really have a home where I can say I'm from here, and I don't really have a place where I belong. I belong to so many different places. So what does this cause in me? This causes confusion. This is distressful. If you say, I'm going to go home, where is my home? I'm going to contrast this to my dad's life. My dad, when he was growing up in a small town called Machilipatnam in Andhra Pradesh, it took 6 years for them to get a phone line in their village. And then on top of that, at the age of 17 is the first time he left his village and to go to Hyderabad, which is in the same state. I'm 18, and I've lived in the US and Chennai, and then I've traveled a lot too, and I've had so much exposure in my life, and I have seen so many different things, and I'm sure all of you have. So in this way, I'm going to take my confusion and I change it into inspiration. I see my exposure as a good thing. Our generation today is globalized. We have seamless communication. We have infinite opportunities. So today, when I see all these different identities, I say that nothing really identifies me other than the action that I take. I don't belong to a nationality. I don't belong to a community. I belong to the actions that I create for myself. And this in itself is inspiring. As my intro said, I organized a conference, a Model United Nations conference, which is a simulation of the UN. About 450 students came this year from over 25 schools. We discussed international and pressing issues for 3 days. I did a field research in microfinance on the impact of microfinance loans on the lives of women in Adyar. I work with anti-human trafficking organization called Prajwala, and I raise money for them because they save women and children every single day. And this isn't to brag or say I've done so much, but instead show you that my inspiration comes from my confusion. My inspiration is that I have unlimited opportunities. I'm so young, and I command a room of over 200 people today. I mean, what gives me the right to speak to you all? It's just because I take my inspiration and I translate it into action. I translate it into something that people tell me I'm the future of the world, but what does that really mean? That means being an active and global citizen, and that's what inspires me on a daily basis. In conclusion, I just want to say another cultural joke that I learned is I didn't really understand this Rajnikant culture before I came to Chennai. So someone would say, why doesn't Rajnikant wear a watch? Because he tells what time it is. And that one kind of flew over my head. I'm like, yeah, that's so funny. I just really need friends right now. But then before I came, I actually took 4 years for me to get into it. And then yesterday someone told me this joke, and I laughed really, really hard. Thank you all for listening to me today, and I hope the TEDx is great. Thank you.